Hi, everybody. This is Lowell, and we're talking about how to start a music school. And we've talked about starting with asking yourself the question, why? And, for me to start our music school, I had to delve into the question, well, if you're going to be teaching music, then what actually is music? And I know that sounds like a really esoteric question, but I think it's worth exploring. And, music in our current culture is seen in a lot of different ways, and I don't personally believe that it's always helpful. But for example, there are these shows that pit people against each other, different performers, and essentially turn music into a sport. Did you win that competition? And I'm not here to denigrate those shows or sports in general, but music is basically to gather people. Music is to get people to do things together in ensemble. Anytime you have division and competition between people, it might make the individual players play their best, and I understand that. But the core viability of what is music, you would have to say that music in itself is not a sport. Music is something different than that. Other people see music as pure entertainment, and the word entertainment means to draw attention to. And so music does do that. It draws attention to the performer or to uh, selling a product. Music is good for augmenting, uh, whatever it's promoting. But in itself, music is not meant to be an advertisement. Music is meant to point to something beyond itself, of course. But it's not meant to be an entertainment per se. Entertainment means essentially for people to uh, gain pleasure. It's purely for pleasure, and music is more than that. It carries a meaning, and it sometimes carries a challenge, a message that challenges its listener, not only to make the listener feel good. Um, and so, music can function in ways that are emotional. A lot of people think that music is emotional, which it certainly can be and is, but it's more than that. Um, it also has pattern and design. There's some of my other videos have talked about motivic development, and when you look at a flower or a seashell or the heavens, the stars in the sky, you see pattern design, and music has that, and it's beauty in its own right, separate and aside from emotion. And then it also music can incite people to make decisions. How many times have we seen that you have music that's out in front of people going to war, and there are biblical examples of that, but also the drums and the fife, just marching, a drum beat, inciting the army to go to battle and to face the enemy. And so, uh, music can be used in all these different ways. Um, as I said earlier, it can be used to advertise a product. It can also be, music can be for its own self, for its own sake, music for music's sake. You have these nerd composers or nerd musicians that are basically playing for each other, and they're taking the art form to its highest level, and inspiring one another to push the boundaries of the art form, and that's fine. Another part of music is that it's been used in worship since the dawn of time, and there's a lot of interesting examples of the use of music in the Bible. and I find them very fascinating. But there are a couple of words that to me define music, and they come from a couple of different places. But the very first musician's name was Jubal, and if the Hebrews used uh, word meanings for the names of people, and on purpose. And so the word or the name Jubal means to flow like a river. And so that's one attribute of music, is to flow and to um, anytime you have a situation that's musical, that's basically stuck and it's not going anywhere, that's not really a great musical experience. Music is meant to carry you from one point to the next, either emotionally or in terms of meaning that it's conveying. And then there's another name. King David, of course, made lots of musical instruments and set up uh, worship around the tabernacle 24 hours a day with the most skillful musicians. But he put in charge a man by the name of Asaph. And if you look at the meaning of the word Asaph, it means to gather. So I believe that maybe a couple of the best ideas about what music is and can be or should be is to flow and to gather, and not to divide, not to compete, but to create a sense of community, to create a sense of togetherness. And that leads me to what I have decided to make an important phrase that defines our music school, and that is that music is more than sound. Music is relationships. And so when you think about relationships, there's a lot that goes into it, but relationship can be yourself, within yourself, your relationship to the music, your relationship with yourself as a performer, as a creator, but also relationship with the person or people that you're giving music to, that you're communicating. Music is supposed to be a communicating art form, and so you're actually giving something to somebody else. And if nobody else is there to receive it, then what's the point? So, uh, and also in worship, you see many illustrations in the Bible of music not for people, but being given directly to God as a relationship in worship. And so these are some of the factors of what music is and what it is not. And so when we're talking about teaching music, that these are important things to consider, because what are you going to be conveying to your student? What long term, what long game? Um, I had a friend that says, play the long game. What is the long range impartation that you're helping your students to develop into? 10 years, 20 years down the line, have they developed in their consciousness that music is a sport and that they have to compete and beat everybody out? Is that the foundation of decades of their life? Or is it looking towards how can I be a benefit to my community? How can I be a benefit to the people around me? How can I make other people's lives better? How can I empower other people through what I have to share? And I think these are important questions to raise at the beginning of starting a music school.